Okay. Welcome to the SBR NHL Double Play of the Day video. It is Thursday, March 5th. Surprise! We're on the air here on this Thursday, ready to give you our plays of the day. I'm a little under the weather, got a little cold, but it's not the coronavirus. Nobody needs to panic. I'm not in that kind of destitute state right now. Fine enough to do this video with Adam Booth, ready to keep it going. How can I not be on the video? We're rolling on these plays of the day right now. Unbelievable. Great run for me personally on these. We had the Jets the other night. Let's see if we can keep it going. Let's start with Adam. Before we do, though, SBRodds.com. Make sure you're checking out SBRodds.com daily when you're making your bets so that you get the best price in line with all your wagers. And also, all the SBR NHL written content on a daily basis, including Adam's articles with his plays of the day, because he has plays of the day on every day, not just when we do the videos 3 days a week. Make sure you're reading those
Yeah.
by visiting sbrvideo.com/NHL. All right, Adam, let's get to your play. It's the Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia minus 135. Home favorites, total 6, shaded to the over. As you mentioned in the preview video you did, Carolina desperate for points. Philly
hmm
off the big win against Washington tonight. So two teams needing points. Should be a good game. Adam, you like the Carolina over team total. Tell us why you like it.
Yeah, this is so. Yesterday, I had the Flyers team total, not as my play of the day, but as my other article play for the Wednesday night rivalry match between the Caps and Flyers. And a lot of why I preferred the value on the team total rather than their money line is simply because even though over the last 12 games now, they're scoring in bunches against all manner of teams, they're also letting a good number of these teams in the games. Well, maybe some are late goals and sort of third period goals, but overall they're scoring and they're being scored against. And this is a Carolina team that's been off for 5 days now. 5 days since Saturday, and had plenty of time to stew on their 3-game loss. They Coach Brindamore, who I think is a fantastic coach, has made some comments about we've got some games. They have the most games left this season of any team in the NHL. They control their destiny in terms of if they play well enough through these final games, they can still make the playoffs. And tonight, facing the division rival in the Flyers, who've won 7 in a row, who have the best home record, I believe, now in the league. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's best, if not, it's right up there. And it's a good situational spot for the Canes to jump. I like to not use terms like that, but it's a good situational spot for the Canes to come out when they've been waiting since Saturday, waiting for the Flyers for this big game that has, a 4-point swing in the mix. And given that the Flyers are hot, they are a little bit overvalued on the defensive side. It's not that I think it should be a 3.5, but a 2.5 and maybe minus 180, 190 would have been more appropriate by my projection. But so the over 2.5 is my play, which I still, as far as a side in this game, Carolina is dealing with their own issues on their back end. They've got 3 starters, 2 or 3 defensemen that are all sidelined with, kind of serious injuries, a broken leg, a shoulder injury, and then I think Vatanen's out with something as well, lower body injury. Additionally, the goaltending on Carolina is very suspect at the moment. I mean, I have never thought of Carolina really since Ward was their number 1 guy. That was the last time they had stellar goaltending. And last year they had good to maybe pretty good and goaltending, but Mrazek and Reimer are not, top 5 goaltenders in the league. So you're already working. I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes are already working with a deficit in that position as I see it. And even if one of those guys were starting, I would still look at maybe an over for this game. But I like, as far as the team total for the Canes, just to come out and maybe get an early lead, 1 or 2 goals in the first. And however it plays out after that, I'm sure they can sort of grind it out to 3 goals. I think it was Williams, who is the captain of the Canes, who said, we need to start playing like we're starting the game with a 1-goal deficit, meaning urgency, meaning we can't play like we're got a chance to win right from the start. We got to play like we're already behind, which is kind of an interesting mentality to go into it. And with that mentality, it sort of implies that they're going to come up with more urgency, having the 5-day break, which for a great skating team, resting up, that's been injured, knocked around.
Not that kind of knocked up. Come on now.
So for those sort of situational things, I do like the team total. And I was just talking to Ian before the show started, and maybe adding the full game total over 6.5. I think it's 6.5, or is it 6? No, it should be 6.5 here. It's 6.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be adding that for sure then. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 shaded. Philadelphia has been an over machine, of course. This incredible run where they've scored at least 4 goals in almost every game. That's been remarkable to see this offense just explode.
Absolutely, and as I said, Carolina's back. But see, I generally don't take over 3.5 just because it is such a tricky number. Generally, if a team is getting to 4 and they're a heavy favorite, and you've got to bank on the dog getting 1 or 2. So why not look at an over 6 or 6.5 instead, so that at a 3-3 where they lose 4-3 in a shootout, you're protected. So that's generally my play. It's just that the Flyers have been involved in a lot of high scoring games. Yes, Hart is going tonight, and I can already hear people saying, well, if Elliott was going, I would have taken the over. Remember, these goalies are within a 0.5% or 1.5% save percentage. Whether Elliott's going or Hart's going or Reimer's going, it's about the play in front of them. And there's a whole season worth of numbers to back that up. The Philly back end is averaging just under 3 goals a game against, but that's not during this February and early March stretch. So that's my play, Ian. And I know you thought that you might look at the over yourself. Any thought on sides for this one?
You know what? There's actually a couple other things I'm looking at. That quote from Justin Williams stuck out to me, that we got to start fast, start strong. We're getting off to slow starts. He made a point of mentioning that. And with Philly off, let's be honest. I mean, can we really honestly, in our heart of hearts, expect Philadelphia to be just coming out full blast in the first period after such a huge win last night? That was an enormous win. You could see them being a little bit hungover, flat. Not a letdown, but just not quite sharp. That first
not
period.
Quite as
back to back.
Right, exactly.
The team they're tracking down for first in the division, a nationally televised game like it was last night on NBC.
Everybody was saying it was like a playoff game last night.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the full game over. You're right. I'm also looking at maybe Carolina at a plus price in the first period. Based on that, because I think they might be able to jump on the Flyers early. I don't know if I trust them to hang in there and win the game for 60 minutes. Philly might wake up and get going, and Philly is tough, really tough at home. Their home record's been sensational. But Carolina maybe to jump on the Flyers first period, a Carolina plus price in the first period, maybe even a first period over, maybe something to look at. I'm definitely interested in those two looks.
I like that, and I'm not a first period guy, but if I was, I would probably.
The logic. You're getting the logic behind it, even though you don't bet those too much. I get what you're saying.
Now,
absolutely.
Your game is one that I still haven't made sense of. I took a look at it. I only have Nashville at 51%, so it's very narrow. If anything, given it's a tricky one. We saw the Oilers play both the Preds and Stars in back-to-back games. Very different results in terms of scoreline, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it, because Dallas is probably where I'd like to go, but haven't done anything.
All right, Dallas, Nashville. You're right. I did go there with this play of the day today. Dallas minus 110, minus 115. Road favorites now 5.5 shaded to the under the total in this game. I think it's still playable even at minus 107 at Pinnacle, minus 109 at Heritage, minus 114 at Crisp, minus 115 at 5 Dimes. Even if that's the price you get right now, as long as it's below minus 120, that's probably my cutoff. I still endorse Dallas here. My sense that I made of this game, Adam, is Dallas is the better team at an even money price, period, end of story. Nashville, to me, is dead bet against material for me right now. 3 losses in a row for this Predators team. They got absolutely embarrassed by Edmonton earlier this week. They followed it up with a loss on the road against Minnesota. No offense whatsoever in either of those 2 games. The offense struggling overall. Ryan Johansson injured, questionable to play. To be honest with you, I don't think it all matters all that much. He's had such a disappointing season for the Nashville Predators, but nevertheless, and it's still an injury they don't need when they're already struggling to score. So they've lost 3 in a row. So is Dallas, okay? It's not like Dallas is coming in here playing great hockey. They've lost 3 in a row as well. But look at what's happened here. I mean, you've got Nashville losing badly to Edmonton, losing to Minnesota, who's a mediocre team, 3-1. At least Dallas's last 3 losses. Boston, I got never a shame in losing to the Bruins, and 4-3 they battled them in Boston, losing 4-3 in a shootout to the defending Stanley Cup champions, St. Louis Blues. I got no problem with that. And then, of course, the last game they lost to Edmonton 2-1 in overtime at home.
They were the better team for most of that game.
Absolutely right, Adam. Absolutely. 43-27. It was a Mikko Koskinen show that night. He came out of nowhere. First
very rare Koskinen show.
Yeah, and he was absolutely outstanding. He was doing the acrobatic saves. He was stretching out like Snow Angel across the crease, and he was just absolutely outstanding. And if he was anything less than that, Dallas wins that game the other night. So it's not time to panic with Dallas losing 3 in a row. The better of these teams, they've owned Nashville. They've won like 5 or 6 in a row head-to-head against the Nashville Predators. They beat them up in the playoffs, too, recently. I think it was either last year. It was last year, in the playoffs. Beat them in the first round. And that first-round series win was decisive. I mean, they looked like so much the better team against Nashville. And Nashville's bet against. I mean, what area of this team can they hang their hat on and say it's going well for us right now? They're not scoring. Their special teams is lousy. Their power play stinks. Their penalty kill's just as bad. Their defensive play is completely evaporated and fallen way down this year compared to where it's been in years past. And you don't know if you're going to get a save night in and night out from Pekka Rinne or UC Saros. These 2 guys are as inconsistent and frustrating as it gets. Pekka Rinne was serving up Dairy Queen softies left and right in his last start against the Edmonton Oilers. Saros wasn't really all that much better against Minnesota in the loss the next night. Then I don't want to make a big deal of it because I don't like throwing human elements and situational elements into handicapping games like this, but the tornado situation in Nashville. That's got to be some kind of distraction here for the Predators. Let's be honest. They live there during the hockey season, probably year-round.
Yeah.
So, you could have situations where there's people around them in distress because of the destruction and the damage that was caused by that. And it's just one of those things that takes your focus away from doing your job on the ice, in instances like that. So there's more than anything, though, this is Dallas to me in a spot where I trust them to bounce back. They lost 3 in a row to quality teams. Nashville losing 3 in a row to a bit more of a mediocre schedule. And to be honest with you, I just like Dallas. Dallas is the better defensive team for sure. I trust their goaltending. Ben Bishop's maybe not going to play tonight. He's dealing with an injury. I got no issues backing Hudobin. Anton Hudobin's been absolutely terrific lately in net for the Dallas Stars going into this game. You look at the records of these teams. Dallas has more road wins than Nashville has home wins. And that tells you all you need. Nashville's home record. I mean, you can't be scared to bet against Nashville at home. Their home record, they've just not had that home ice advantage
and
this
against
year.
So many mediocre to poor teams too. I'm thinking about, New York Rangers and Buffalo and who else? The Devils, I think. Florida, they've lost to at home. I mean, these aren't terrible teams. I'm just saying so many of these games where they just looked flat for the first 2 periods of the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's been rough for this Nashville team. Now somehow they're still in it. So I don't think they're going to be lack of motivation, lack of effort. They're going to come to play, but so is Dallas. And if both of these teams come to play tonight, I think Dallas wins this game. They've owned this team. They have their road record is better than Nashville's home record. If we had done a Monday play of the day show, there's no doubt Edmonton would have been my play of the day that day against Nashville. I thought that price was stupid. That Nashville was just outright stupid that Nashville was minus 140 in that game against Edmonton at home. And, of course, Edmonton absolutely thumps them. So I'm going against Dallas. This is one of my strongest bet against teams right now in the NHL. I picked the bones of the Predators Monday night with Edmonton. See if we can do it tonight. Dallas plus 100 for my play of the day.
No, I really like the rationale there, and I know on the defensive side of things, this is the time of year where that is. I mean, Dallas had a fantastic run through December and I think early January, shutting teams down, limiting them to 1 or 2 goals alone. But again, in March and April is where you really see it come to focus. And if Nashville's losing 8-3 at home to a team that they're trying to make up ground, I mean, the Oilers will probably secure a Pacific spot, but they're still in that mix of teams that Nashville is trying to chase. And, you tie it up 2-2, then 3-3, and then you just get blown out in the most important period of the game. That's sort of been Nashville just all season long. They've had games like that where it's like, where did that 3 or 4 goals that you just either in the first period or the third period, all of a sudden it's wide
3-3
open.
3-3 that game going into the third period against Edmonton, and when the roof caves in on them, it really does. And that's exactly what we saw Monday night. And then, of course, they didn't really bounce back all that strongly against Minnesota. So that's a team going down the wrong direction. And again, Dallas has lost 3 in a row too, just like Nashville. But I've got more faith that the better team, when 2 slumping teams or 2 teams that are on losing streaks, I always like to back at the same time going into a game. I like to back the better team. And to me, that's Dallas here. And Dallas has won, indeed, 5 straight games against Nashville. So I'm on Dallas, and that's going to wrap it up. There's our play of the day for this Thursday. Adam liking the Carolina Hurricanes team total over 2.5, minus 135. And I'm on Dallas, plus 100 against Nashville. That'll wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We appreciate it for sure. We'll be back with you on Saturday. Note the start time, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday for our next edition of the Play of the Day video. For Adam Booth, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Good luck with all of your wagers, and we'll see you again on Saturday.